Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu, thokozani indlondlo enkulu. Thokozani ishingishani zomoya. I'm smart makhosi sizwe. Sokolo sakhaboni nalesi. I'm very sorry I'm late, guys. I was supposed to be here 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, something like that. But yeah, I'm here, Sengila. And I think we're just going to sing and then singing in Dabin Gamoya namhlanje, which is going to be a very interesting topic. Ngawuthi mhlambe izovusa abantu abaningi kwezinye zezinto ababhekana nazo, you know. Yeah. Can I put my phone on silent, please? I don't want to keep on hearing this noise. Okay. So yeah, I think it's going to be a topic that is going to help a lot of people. So today we're basically speaking about self-initiation and all of that. Yeah, I'm very sorry I'm late to go over to. I know what Tabange been known and schedule and Suse Yonkindo and be like, my courses will be speaking on this time, and let me just sit down and listen and all of that. So yeah. Should we start? Che sola dola umpilelona kimula tu wa kitla ufa I'm picking up this energy. I'm just passing out a message. I'm picking up this energy. Yanang umjida. Ngicabanga ukuthi igama lakho Themba. I'm familiar. I'm not sure indawo ohlala kuyona, but ngizwa kukhuluma amaZulu. I don't know if it's kusemakhaya or kusehostela or it's a township, but egcwele abantu abangamaZulu. One thing that I'm sure ngayo ukuthi uThemba igama lakho, and you dark skin, a bit chubby, nomkhaba. One thing the universe it says I should pass to you ukuthi lo muntu wesifazane onaye njengamanje, do not get married to that person. Do not get married to that person, not because of khona into wrong ngaye, but it feels like you were married before and then you divorced, and then now the one onaye njengamanje usocabanga umshada futhi uthumele inkomo kubo, usocabanga ukuthi ngicabanga ukusayina and all of that. But amadlozi akini bathi do not get married to that person. Reason being, abantu abadala bakini There are those type of people. Abomkhulu bakini, they are those type of patriarchal men. They don't like izinto zabo zixutshwe nezinto zesilungu. They prefer them traditionally as they are. Nothing much. Your previous marriage, walobola, nashada, nasaina, and you did everything. Now wenza ngisho nangesilungu, and you got divorced. But abantu abadala just saying, if you want to do things right by her family, hambu yokhokha ilobolo kuphela. Do not get married. Just because of, if you do get married to the woman, you will trigger the spirit of divorce once again in your life. Kunesibopho esiboshiwe phezu komndeni wakini that has a lot to do with marriage. That has to do with marriage, and just don't. Ngoma ngithi ngiyayibheka lento lena ihamba phakathi komndeni wakini to how yeah, because when I take a look at this thing, ihamba phezu komndeni wakini. It's like ngathi it's a circulating thing that has been going around. Umndeni. I can even see that you have a sister, an older sister, when she's light skin, unomzimba nje nayo. She has been but 5, 6, 7 years married to 10 years, something like that. Naye ziyambuyela emshadweni. Soon she will divorce and come back ekhaya because of such things. So to prevent ukuhlukana kwenu, to prevent izinto ezimbi zenzeka phezu kwempilo yenu nalomuntu omthandayo uzocabanga ukuthi mhlambe bengasiyena, just do not get married. Hamba uyokhipha ilobola and then sit down and relax. Yeah, I'm just passing out a message. Right, coming back to life. So basically today we are speaking about self-initiation, ne? Tips on how to self-initiate successfully. So I know that the majority of us we are in this spectrum of self-initiation, and we are still new. Majority of us are still new. Majority of us are in level 5. The majority of us have completed the journey and everything like that. But one thing, guys, that I know, I've shared my journey with you. Indlela is that some of the things that I came across, you know, after coming out of church, everything was fine, sharp. I got myself a peshweni labanguni because of I was trying to understand the side of Bongoma which it was quite new to me. Right. Never succeeded. Spent my 2 months, my 3 months there. You know the story, you know the drill. Right. I found myself a person lamakhosi. Ngathi mangifika khona ubaba umakhosi vilakazi uyena wafika wangiphothulisa ngaphothula ngaqeda everything. Baba wafika wangiphothulisa yonke into. Ngathi mangifika nakhona futhi angizange ngihlala into engange didn't stay for like about 6 months and all. Ngahla into engangenyanga. Because ngathi mangifika umakhosi wafika ubaba wafika wathi no, wena awudingi ukuthi lokuyiswa lena yonke into yakhe isiset yasebenza. Idlozi lakhe belifuna nje ukuzondlula lizondluliswa, hayi ukuthi lizoqalela phansi and everything like that. So uzokwenzela nje lokhu nalokhu bese yaqeda. So ngaqeda iphehlweni lamakhosi ngaphothula ngabuya ekhaya. Came back home sharp. Kodwa ngathi ngiloko ngisesekhaya, I could feel ukuthi something is missing. Something it's not complete. You know, And I could sort of feel ukuthi ngisuke ephehleni labengoma, not because ngangingabizelwanga lona, not because anginabo ubungoma, but it's just because ngangingabizelwanga iphehlo. I know it's gonna sound very controversial. Umuntu is like, makhosi uthini? Ukhuluma uthini? Can I just fix my screen? Let me just do it like this. Okay, not because of ubungoma ngangingenabo, but ngangingabizelwanga iphehlo. So that is why ngathi uma ngifika ephehlweni ngakwazi ukufika idlozi and nalo la ngavuka. Ngalo ngiqhubeke ngilifake njalo but nalo la ngavuka. Because ngangingabizelwanga lona. And into lena ngarealize sekudala ukuthi noma nobungoma nginabo. It's just that I was not called for iphehlo. Sharp, kanjani makhosi? How so? Abantu ababizelwe iphehlo, abantu abazothwasa ubungoma, right? Abantu abazothwasa and all of that. Lento ngathi mase ngizibuza ngathi okay sharp. So if mina ngangabizelwanga iphehlo, why was I not called for iphehlo ngibizelweni? And then the answer that I got is that we are going to self-initiate you for ubungoma. Amadlozi asangitshela ukuthi the spirit told me that we are going to initiate you for ubungoma. So practically you're going to be a self-initiate. You're ubungoma. All these other gifts of you are good, are in a good standing. Your prophetic side is on a good standing. Omakhosi wako is on a good standing. Your astrology, your numerology, everything, it's on a good standing. We are going to practically initiate you, self-initiate you for ubungoma bako. Then I got to ask myself a question, guys. I asked myself, ngathi, abantu abahambile bayothwasa, balphuza balphalaza, bavuka ekuseni, bashayelwa amantshomane, bavuka ntathakusa bashayelwa amantshomane, bashonisa isibani selanga, bakhuphula isibani selanga, babingelela benza yonke into, bafunda imithi and everything like that. Balphuza balphalaza ekugcineni, bathungatha imfihlo yabo, bathungatha amambatho abo, bathungatha inyongo yabo, bathungatha ishoba labo, bathabathe sebukhosi babo, bebathwasani. That's the question I ask myself. Bebathwasani. Yini le bebayithwasa? The whole 6 months yonke oyispende ephehlweni uya phansi naphezulu. Yini le oyithwasa? Le mina engingayidini. But still, mina nawe, we have the very same gift. Yini le wena boyithwasa? Then I got to ask myself ukuthi umuntu uthwasile. Uthwase idlozi lagini noma uthwase the spirit of ubungoma. Uthwaseni kahle kahle. Asali, we don't have a problem. We saw you uhlupheka, sikubonile ingulo yobizo ikuhlupha, uthwasa, to a point egcine noliphuza wazwaliphalaza waqeda wabuya ekhaya. Uthwaseni. Uthwase idlozi lakini or uthwase the spirit of ubungoma. And the answer that I got, ukuthi abantu abaye ephehlweni bathwasa idlozi lakubo. Umuntu uthwasa idlozi lakubo. Leli elimhluphile laze lamthatha lamfaka phakathi ephehlweni ngenxa yokuthi lifuna indawo lapho lizokhulela khona. Angazi noma niyangizwa yini bangcwele. umuntu uhambe waza wayongena phakathi ephehlweni ngenxa yokuthi uhlushwa yidlozi lakubo elimhluphe laze lamthatha lamfaka phakathi ephehlweni ngenxa yokuthi lifuna indawo, lifuna ikhaya lapho lizokhulela khona. So basically umuntu uthwase ini? Uthwase idlozi lakubo. Correct. So what's the difference between mina nalabaya? What is this that is so special ngami? Le engenza ukuthi mina ngingafuneki ephehlweni. Mina olwami ubizo ungangibonisa ugobela. What is it that is so special? It's because mina, as a self-initiate, or mina nawe, as I'm a self-initiate, we do not twasa amadlozi akithi lawa azasithathe asifune singena phakathi emaphehlweni just because afuna ukukhulela phansi kwenye impande. But instead, we twasa the spirit of ubungoma. Let me repeat this once again. Self-initiates, they do not twasa idlozi that will require them to go bayongena ephehlweni baze bathole impande abazokhulela kuyona. But self-initiates, they initiate the spirit of ubungoma itself. That's where self-initiation comes from. We initiate the spirit itself because the spirit is divine, the spirit is independent, the spirit does things for itself. The spirit is powerful, the spirit doesn't require any gobela. The spirit does things for itself. There is no need for me ukuthi ngiyothola ikhaya. There is no need for me ukuthi ngiyothola impande engizokhulela ngaphansi kwayo. I'm practically initiated by the spirit itself. That is why there is no need for me ukuthi ngiyongena ephehlweni ngithi ngiyaliphuza ngiyaliphalaza. That is why there is no need for me ukuthi ngiyobonisa ugobela. It's because I'm initiating the spirit itself. There's nothing wrong ngowangena ephehlweni wathwasa waqeda. Uthwase idlozi lakini. Idlozi belifuna ikhaya, idlozi belifuna impande lapho lizokhulela khona. But for because mina angibizwanga idlozi, I'm being called by the spirit itself. And the spirit requires no gobela. The spirit requires no mpande. The spirit doesn't conform to anything that is tangible, anything that is earthly. The spirit does things for itself. Come to think about it. Come to think about it. Who initiated the first healer emhlabeni? Who initiated the first healer emhlabeni? You cannot tell me ukuthi the first healer was initiated by amadlozi akubo. Amadlozi akubo are initiated because this guy or this person is the first healer. Akunamadlozi initiated the first healer. Instead, the first healer was initiated by the spirit itself. The spirit is the one that initiated the first healer. So practically, originally, the first healer was a self-initiate. Practically, the first healer was a self-initiate. Initiated by the spirit itself, not by amadlozi. Alikho idlozi elamfuna ashone ephehlweni lifuna ukuyokhulela somewhere. The spirit is the one that initiated the healer. The spirit is the one that assigned the healer, that granted the healer the power of healing. And come to think about it, bantu abadala, not that I didn't put any makeup, but I look so puffy. I understand what's going on. Anyways, yeah. And come to think about it, bantu abadala, not that I'm trying to demean or to degrade the level of ubungoma or the stature of ubungoma, or nginyatsa ubungoma, or ngibdelele, or ngibcwasa, something like that. I'm just stating things as blunt as they are. When you think about it, ubunyanga, no, let me not say ubunyanga, ubungoma. Ubungoma, it's kahle kahle umntwana in the spiritual healing spectrum, or in the spiritual realm. Ubungoma umntwana. Because if you think about it, if the self-initiate that was initiated by the spirit, the first thing that would do to that self-initiate, it will grant that self-initiate the power of healing. And the power of healing will come using what? Will come using herbs. Yin lelo, igedla lelo. Igedla lelo. Akusona sangoma leso. Igedla lelo. So practically the first healer, bekuyigedla. Not that I'm demeaning bunyanga or something like that, but the first healer, bekuyigedla. Whether it's a she or whether it's a he, but bekuyigedla. Because impande yokuqala ayithola kwakuyimpande yokulapha ngemithi. Igedla. So if Makhosi, the first healer, kwakuyigedla, how did it come by ukuthi kube khona izangoma and everything like that? It could possibly be that the first healer wafundisa abanye, taught others umuthi, the other one they taught the other one taught the other, the other one taught the other. They ended up becoming a group of people. Abebefundisane umuthi, the other one initiated the other one initiated the other. Ended up becoming a group of people knowing the same pattern yomuthi, the very same pattern yomuthi, assigned, granted by, the very same pattern yomuthi, taught by the spirit. They ended up becoming a group of healers. And as they become a group of healers in one unity, befunde whatever lena bayifundiswe ilo wokuqala. Now, do you understand ukuthi abantu abamnyama arts, yabona ungahamba umhlaba wonke, there's nothing abantu abamnyama they are very good in, like arts and craft and beadwork. Anything that has to do with craft, anything that has to do with arts, anything that has to do with beadwork, ibizwa la thina sikabantu abamnyama. And black people were very good into seeing a problem and having a way of fixing that problem using their talent. So practically, njengeinyanga, njengabantu abasebenza ngemithi, njengabantu abafisa ukuyivikela, already now they are working for the purity of the world. So already ubuthakathi babekhona ngaleso sikhathi leso. already the darker forces knew ukuthi sekhona abantu who are working for the purity and these people are healing people. So they had to find alternative options ukuthi bahambe benomuthi ozobavikela emzimbeni wabo. That's how beadwork started. That's how they started doing imfiso. That's how they started doing amambato. That's how they started doing amashoba. Everything. Everything. Mangathi uyabheka benani ifaka umuthi. Ifaka umuthi. To protect themselves. Everything ithathwe ifaka umuthi. Using the craft, using the beadwork, the creativity abanayo as abantu abamnyama, using that. So now there are a group of people like that, having this beadwork abayenzayo that is meant to protect them. Now, as they continue teaching and initiating other healers, initiating ufundiswa everything, ufundiswa kuthiwa umuthi usebenza kanje, umuthi usebenza kanje, and everything like that. As far as you keep on being taught ukuthi lo muthi usebenza kanjani, you do not have the power ukusebenzisa loyo muthi loyo. Even though you know ukuthi lo muthi usebenza kanjani, but you do not have the power ukuthi usebenzise loyo muthi loyo. Now, in order for you ukuthi uthole the power, to be granted the power to be able to use this herb in the spiritual universe, I've said this previously, that there is no covenant that is stronger emhlabeni than the blood covenant. Every power comes with the blood sacrifice. Whether it's a good power, whether it's a bad power, it comes with the blood sacrifice. So, when the first healer went to consult with the spirit, ask the spirit that these people have taught them imiti and they don't have the power to use limiti lena. What do I do? The spirit replied and said, go and find an animal, a type of an animal that since it was born, it has never evolved and it will never evolve. It will never evolve depending on the lifespan or the life eternity of it. It will always be like that. Go and find that type of an animal. And when the first healer went to look for that type of an animal, there was no other animal that has never evolved. All animals have been evolved. The only animal bengakazi is evolve kwakuyimbuzi. And they had to take imbuzi kube yona ezohlatshwa kuphuzwe igazi lakhona. Lithi maliphuzwa, the drinking of the blood was to connect the healer and the spirit, to create this blood covenant, this strong bond between that particular healer that has been taught umuti and the spirit, so that they can be one. And the splitting of the blood emhlabeni grants you the power of using imiti. So that's how Intwaso was born. That's how Impande was born. That's how Ubungoma was born. Craft created Ubungoma. Granting the power created Ubungoma. But Ubungoma, it's actually a baby. Ubugedla. And Ubugedla, it's actually a baby. Yes, tool. But I'll explain that one day. angazi noma nihamba nami yini, angazi noma niyangibamba yini. You know, it's how do I put this? In such a scenario, what after, okay, wait. Inguthi umoya ubamba ngapha ke manje. Wait. In such a scenario, lapho khona ubungoma, that's how it was created. And ubugedla happens to be the primary origin of ubungoma. Ubunyanga happens to be the primary origin of ubungoma. I think this somehow, guys, it's supposed to show you ukuthi why some of you are not shown ubugobela. This it's supposed to show you ukuthi why some of you are not given amagama wamadlozi or those names. Why uzophiwa igama ledlozi when you don't have idlozi that you're initiating, whereas you are initiating the spirit itself? Why would the spirit require you to go ephehlweni yokorobha kagobela thizeni? Why? Why would I go and ngiyokorobha kagobela ekubeni I'm being initiated by the spirit that initiated the ancestor, not the gobela, the ancestor that the gobela initiated for? Ubani uzohamba yokorobhela uminister? Why ngahamba ngekorobhela uminister kanti ngishade ipresident? Why? Angeke, I can't. Angeke ngikwazi ngekorobhela, ngekorobha kaminister ngishade ipresident. Kahle sis, kahle. No. So in this case, the president will be the spirit and the minister will be the gobela. I can't go there. The spirit does things for itself. The spirit doesn't conform to impande. Practical masa sikhuluma amaqiniso, the spirit doesn't know impande. The spirit doesn't know impande. The first healer is the one that created impande using creativity and all of that. The spirit just initiated the healer. Kwaba amen. So, whatever gift you have as a self-initiate, it's independent. It doesn't require a sense of belonging somewhere. It stands for itself. It stands for its ground. Ugula nje ingulo yomoya wobungoma. It's not ingulo yedlozi that will require you to uhambe uyongena ephehlweni. That will require you to go and drink the blood and all of that. I know ukuthi kunama-question ozibuza wona njengamanje. I just hope ukuthi within mase siqeda le session uzobe so answerekile somewhere. Some. So a self-initiate doesn't initiate idlozi, but initiates the spirit itself. Right? Okay, sharp. Now let's take it in that branch here. Asambinai. The spirit siqale sithwasise wena qala before wena uthwasa sona. Angazi noma ngiyaunderstand. The spirit siqale sithwasisa wena kuqala before wena uthwasa sona. Kanjani makhosi? So the period of ukuthwasa kwakho isithunywa, no, ukuthwasa kwakho the spirit, sorry, not isithunywa, ukuthwasa kwakho the spirit, it's based on these few things that I'm going to align to you. It's based on your physical side, number one. It's based on your emotional side. And it's based on your mental side. I-process ke lena the spirit ekufaka kuyona wena uma uthwasa. Siqale sithwasise wena before wena uzothwasa sona. That's your physical side, your emotional side, and your mental side. Your physical side. Majority of the people, they think if you're an addict of inyaube, or you're an addict to drugs, or whatsoever that you may think. But actually, when you're an addict to anything that it's desired by your physical body, and you can't stop thinking about it, or you can't spend a month or a week without doing it, that's addiction. And the most powerful addiction, and the spirit, when it initiates you, it usually focuses on it. It's the sex addiction. It's the sex addiction, Miss Kat. The one that you hardly look at. Yes, drugs, nyaupe, and all of that. Some people within their journeys, they find themselves within that type of a situation whereby umoya, it puts them into that. Before I go into deep, let me just highlight this for you. When the spirit, it starts to initiate you, before when I was initiator, it doesn't work alone. It works with your mdao spirit. Not umdao as your water mdao spirit, not umdao as your earthly spirit. Umdao as your karmic debt spirit, as your karma spirit. So basically, umdao will be the one that will drown you into the darkest hole. And the spirit will try to light up the way somewhere to show you that you are capable of coming out. You just need to believe in yourself. Umda will be the one that will draw you into drugs. Umda will be the one that will draw you into prostitution. Umda will be the one that will enhance your libido, your sex drive, to a point that you can't spend a week without fucking around. You'll be that type of a person, you'll even have a fuck body just because the person you're dating doesn't meet your sexual desires or sexual needs. Umdao is the one that will drive you to that. And when it does that, it kicks, it gets worse. And then the spirit, because you are trusting it, it's the one that is in control at this point of time. When it kicks in and it kicks in and it kicks in, you get all the sexual desires, and all of that. At the end of the day, when the spirit takes place, when the spirit takes charge, it switches off all the men switch. Sivele siwise wonke ama-main switch. And then you become so numb. You become so, uphelelwa ama-feelings. Uphelelwa the desire of sex iyaphela. Uba so numb when it comes to sex and all of that. Why? Here you are being taught. You are being taught to live. To live out of the desires of the flesh. Lana, you are being taught that you are more than a physical being. You are a spiritual being. You are divine than what you are. What's this word? Than what you are consoling yourself to. Than what you are succumbing to. Which is the desires of the flesh, which is sex. Sometimes an addiction could come as food. To a point where you can't. I was not faster. Faster to you, ngathi tu uyabulawa. The spirit will try to find some things. The spirit will make you ukuthi unyanye ezinye zezinto. The spirit will make you ukuthi ufile ukuthi into esona so sengiphumile angisayithanda yazi bengithanda inyama yone ke rata nama ya kgomo jwang akusayirata yone ke rata this ne ke rata that akusadirata and all of that. The spirit is working in progress. Sithwasisa wena qala sifuna ukukubonisa ukuthi you can live out of the desires of the flesh. You are more than that. You are more than what you are succumbing to. And when you accomplish that process, take one. Well done. Well done. At least now you are able to fast 2 days, 3 days now. Even though you no longer eat that much. Sometimes it's not about fasting, sometimes it's about choosing the type of food you eat. Sometimes spirit is not value appetite for some few days. Just because it's trying to teach you. Siyakutwasisa without you being aware. Utwasa sona before when uzotwasa sona qala sona sithwasisa wena. Into ngeke uzufundisa yona ke leyo mesikade ephehlweni sithando sami. Never. Sharp. You've mastered the physical side of it. Probably maybe now you no longer have a fat body. Okay, maybe sometimes maybe so no muntu eyi-1 ke manje. Good job. Maybe you're no longer that sexually active. Good job, at least. Or maybe mhlambe songene ku celebrate nyana. Good job. Isikhathi masifika uzomthola umuntu right. You have mastered. You have accomplished that process. You have accomplished that test. Well done. Move along. And then the spirit will initiate you to an emotional side. Now, when it comes to an emotional side, the spirit, it sort of distinguishes into two. The individual emotional side and the love life emotional side. The individual emotional side and the love life emotional side. So the individual emotional side, that will be you and your past karmic experiences. You being physically abused usakhula, ukhuliswa umamncane, umama wakho sekashona, uhlukunyezwa umalume nomalumekazi. Those karmic debts that you have experienced. You being gang raped. You being sexually molested. you being raped, those are karmic debts of an individual emotional side. You, at your present moment, not having a job. You, at your present moment, having 2 kids and not being able to provide for them. That's your karmic side. You, at your spiritual level, whereby you don't know how to combine things and make sense out of them. That's your karmic side, your individual side. Umda will work on that. Umda will make you feel so useless just because I was provided abantwana bakho. Umda will trigger all those memories zempilo that you decided to put them on a dustbin, on a smaller dustbin in inhliziyo yakho. You didn't even put them on a dustbin, you just decided to hide them under your heart. And then you decided to continue nempilo. Umda will dig all that pain and bring it to life. Put you in a dungeon of depression. You will find yourself very much depressed. Just because of sebenzi, you can't provide, you can't do things for yourself. You keep on depending on people and all of that. And when Umda will put you into that dungeon of depression, the spirit will come and then it will try to rescue you. And when it rescues you, how do I explain this vele? Sizofuna, the spirit will want you to reach the rock bottom and then find power within the darkness. And then when you find the power within the darkness, that's when you'll be able to rise and overcome the depression. Let me practically make an example like this. For myself. In this 10 years relationship that I was in, I was physically abused, emotionally abused, just because of I was depending to this guy financially, so accommodation and all of that. I found myself in a depression state whereby I could no longer breathe. I could no longer hear my ancestors speaking to me. Whereby I was disconnected to the universe. I couldn't hear anything. They stopped speaking to me. Because of I was in this depression state. I reached my rock bottom where? I reached my rock bottom whereby they decided to keep quiet. And where did the spirit rescue me? When my grandmother came, it's either you sit here and then we continue to keep quiet. Futhi wayisho ngesizulu wathi uma uqhubeka uhlala la, kuphuma kwenu ukuthi uyahlala la, nathi siyaqhubeka siyathula. Or uthola ukuthula kwakho, nathi siyaqhubeka siyakhuluma. That was it. I had to make a decision and say, within the darkness that I'm in, I need to believe in myself. I need to find the light that is within me. I had to make a decision and pack my bags and go. And when I decided to leave the relationship, leave the toxic relationship, when I decided to choose my peace instead of what I was gaining there, and decided to adventure into my peace, not knowing ukuthi ngiyaphi, ngiyosupporta ubani, ngiyodlani, but I believed in the spirit that leaded me ukuthi ngiyaphuma ngiyahamba. And ngathi uma sengihamba, my ancestors, they started speaking to me. Baqala babuya bakhuluma. When they started speaking sebakhuluma, I saw my financial side being stable. Ngabona imali ifika, ngabona beyiletha imali abantu abadala, ngabona ngikwazi ukuthatha ngithenge ngihlafune ngifake emlomeni, ngabona ngikwazi ukungena esitoro ngisithengele ijini, ngabona ngikwazi ukungena esitoro ngikwazi ukusithengela iskipa neteki. Not because bengiyisilima, not because of bokhona umlingonyana, but it's because I trusted my ancestors. Not because I trusted my ancestors, but because I trusted the spirit that leaded me, that guided me. So ngathi uma sengiphumile, the spirit, it showed me ukuthi you are not alone, and you mustn't think you are alone. I am there. I am capable of doing anything for you. You just need to trust in me, and you just need to trust yourself. You mustn't let your situation around you succumb to it, but instead you must trust yourself, and you must look at the situation and be able to tell yourself ukuthi I can overcome this. Angihambi ngedwa emhlabeni. So that's the darker side of umdawu, me being in a toxic relationship, me being in an abusive relationship, me being physically, spiritually, emotionally abused. And the lighter side of it, and the light within the depression state that I found myself in, was me finding my peace and choosing it and being able to walk out, choosing my peace and finding my independence out of the darkness. And that will be once you accomplish that, once you accomplish that individual side of defeating umdawu and its karmic depths, tick, you are done. You have passed the test. Remember, the spirit sisathwasisa wena. So if you could take a look, ukuthwasa kwakho kuyini kungama test. The spirit sisathwasisa wena in this case. So in a relationship side of you, one thing that I have noticed about abantwana bakamoya, it's that you guys are very insecure. You guys are very controlling when it comes to a relationship. You are very insecure. You are very controlling. Unaware of this. Unaware of this. Undeliberately so. Unintentionally so. Unaware of it. You want to be loved. Ngendlela wena ufuna ngakhona. You don't want to listen to the other person. You don't want to hear the language the love language lomunye umuntu ayikhulumayo kuwena, but ufuna ukuthandwa ngale ndlela wena ufuna ngakhona. That's how you spiritual people you are. And I'm going to explain this. In such a case like that, of someone who is insecure, are you insecure because you're jealous? Or are you insecure because you're saba? You're scared? Insecurities, in this case whereby you are a partner who is insecure, will lead you to a karmic debt of you being an emotional abusive partner to your partner. You being an abusive, physically abusive, emotional abusive to your partner. Will lead you to that. And the spirit will, instead of it showing you the light, the spirit will say to you, go back. Buyele muva, Sizwe. Go back. And then when you go back, angithi wena uzibona as an insecure. Now you are worse, so worse ke manje. So abusive ke manje. Manje so very controlling you. Now so umtshela nokumtshela umntana abantu uthi angagqoki ini, agcoke ini. You are this type of an emotional abusive partner. And then the spirit says, go back. Go back. Buyele muva. And then uma uqala uthi ubuyele muva uyacheka. You actually found yourself as a victim here. Even though in this case you appear as a perpetrator. But you are actually the victim. In your life, you will find that you lost your mother when you were young. You've never experienced uthando luka mama. The first partner you dated cheated on you, hurt her. Probably maybe you were raised by ugogo, the grandmother. The grandmother was washona, and the grandmother happens to be the person bekakuthanda. The grandmother happens to be the person wakupho uthando ocishe lingane lwakamama. So practically, when you are an emotionally wounded person, everyone ongathi ukupho uthando empilweni yakho uyasuka empilweni yakho. Everyone ongathi ukubonisa uthando langempela ushesha hamba empilweni yakho. Everyone ongathi ukwenza ufeel so warm, so loved, so appreciated, ushesha hamba empilweni yakho. So in that case, in that scenario of you losing all your first lovers, it sort of created a fear empilweni yakho. A fear that made you to be, a fear that turned you into a psychopath unaware. A fear that made you ukuthi uma uqala uthanda umuntu, ubona umuntu empilweni yakho ekupha uthando, you now want to control the person. Not because you want to control the person, but it's because of you want to protect the person. You want to keep the person for yourself. Because unokwesaba enhlizweni yakho. Ukuthi wonke umuntu ongipha ukuthula, wonke umuntu ongipha uthando, uyahamba empilweni yami. So because unalokusaba enhlizweni yakho, you ended up controlling the person, wanting to keep the person for yourself. unaware that you are actually controlling the person, that you are actually an insecure partner. Immediately eqala ephuma egeza egcoke ehamba uyodlala nabangani bakhe, in your mind it's already ringing that useyocheater. Nkulunkulu uzothola ongcono bese ayangishiya. Hawu Nkosami ngamane ngizoba yini ngaphandle kwalo muntu? Yeke ngithanda kangaka engibonisa uthando engijabulisa. Ngizoba yini ngaphandle kwalo muntu? Already all of that is ringing in your mind. And immediately qale buye ekhaya suyaqala uyacontrola ngicela ungayigcoki into esona and all of that. Because of what? In your mind you're trying to keep him or her away of the society that is going to take him away from you. You are a victim. But now you appear as a perpetrator. And because you haven't healed. You haven't healed. Awukakapholi amanxeba asenhlizweni yakho. You sort of appear as an insecure, controlling partner. So the spirit will be like to you, go back, heal yourself, find peace. In the individual side of you, we chose peace. Now, in this side of love life, you don't need to choose peace, but you need to choose self-love. You need to choose self-love. You need to start loving yourself. You need to give yourself love. If this person ubonisa uthando ngokupamperisha, start pampering yourself so that you will see ukuthi I can do this for myself. Start giving yourself self-love. And immediately when you do that, immediately when you start giving yourself self-love, automatically you heal. Kancane, you heal. Kancane, you heal. And mawuloku heala kancane, you ended up becoming a better person. Kancane, you become a better person. So practically, you have mastered the individual emotional side, tick. You have mastered the relationship side, tick. Well done. We move along. Then now we get into the mental side of things. The mental side of things, it includes your physical side. It includes your emotional side. Your mental side, it's the umbrella of the final stage of ukuthwasa kwakho. Or is too the spirit is thwasisa wena. So the mental side will include your emotional side and your physical side. Now this is you now feeling dirty, feeling ngatuwile, because you come from a drug side. You've been a drug addict. You feel ngatuwile. You feel ngati angeke usaphinde phakame. This is you feeling dirty because you've been a prostitute. This is you feeling dirty because you've slept with 3 guys or 2 guys in one night. This is you feeling dirty because in many instances that has to deal with your physical side. This is you feeling dirty physically. This is you feeling dirty physically. And then in your emotional side, this is you blaming yourself. This is you regretting yourself that you found yourself. Uthengisa ngomzimba. You found yourself, or even jail, shoplifting, committing crime. Yes, Miss God, yes. This is you blaming yourself of all of that. This is you seeing yourself as a sinner. This is you seeing yourself as a murderer. This is you seeing yourself, I'm dirty. This is you looking around. Ubona ukuthi akekho umuntu ongithandayo emhlabeni. Uma owayengithanda, umfazi wangibeletha emhlabeni washona wangishiya. Ugogo wayengithanda, washona wangishiya. Isithandwa sami engangithi siyangithanda naso singishile sathathwa ngabanye. Basically, there's no one ongithandayo emhlabeni. Basically, there's no one who cares about me. Then umdawu will press into that. Umdawu uzofaka itswayi kuleso silonda. Umdawu will push you to the rock bottom of you wanting to commit suicide. And then you'll find yourself trying to commit suicide. But then the Spirit will come and it will try to show you the pure side of you, that you did nothing wrong. You were just learning in Impilo. The Spirit will be there trying to teach you, but you did nothing wrong. You were just trying to learn in Impilo. Your life didn't come with a manual. Your life didn't come with a syllabus. It was just you trying to learn in Impilo, trying to maneuver yourself, trying to survive in life, trying to make ends meet. You did nothing wrong. Now remember, on your physical side, the Spirit taught you to live out of the desires of what? Of the physicality of you. In the emotional side, in the individual side, the Spirit taught you peace, to give yourself peace, to forgive you, to give yourself peace, find peace, choose peace. In the relationship side, the Spirit taught you self-love. Now, in the mental side, when umdawu pushes you over to the rock bottom, where now you want to commit suicide, you want to kill yourself, where now you lose it all, the Spirit, what would the Spirit teach you in this side? The Spirit will teach you forgiveness. The Spirit will teach you to forgive yourself. The Spirit will say to you in Tabi, saying, forgive yourself that you became a prostitute. Forgive yourself that you had to go and sleep with that old man because you wanted to go, but you wanted money with your crash. You wanted malama pampas. The Spirit will say, forgive yourself, Tabiso, that you went to go and mark loya muntu because you wanted to make ends meet. The Spirit will say, forgive yourself that you didn't listen when they told you that do not surround yourself nabantu wrong. Forgive yourself. The Spirit will say, forgive yourself that it was not your mistake. That it was not your mistake. Forgive yourself. The Spirit will say, forgive yourself that you got to find yourself in an emotional abusive relationship because you're trying to find accommodation, you're trying to find yourself being financially stable. Forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself that you didn't find love ekukhuleni kwakho. Uma wakho wahamba, uma wakho washona wakushiya. Even if your mother didn't die, but your mother decided to leave you, wakushiya nogogo wakho, wakushiya ne-stepfather, wakushiya nani. The stepfather raped you, your mother didn't care about you, your father didn't care about you. Forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself. Find forgiveness. That's the Spirit. The Spirit will teach you that. That forgive yourself. Forgive yourself that you had to be a parent. Uma wakhe soshonile, you had to be a parent unakekela abantwana bakini. Your 3 brothers, your 3 siblings. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself ukuthi you didn't find time yokuthi ube umntwana udlale nabanye abantwana. You had to go to date abobhuti abadala beyimoto so that you can come home uzosupport abantwana bakini. Forgive yourself. Xola. Zixolele mntana sekhaya, zixolele. And when you do that, when you accomplish these 4 states, mastering the physical desires, giving yourself peace, giving yourself self-love, and forgiving yourself. When you master these 4, you are done. Uqedile. Usuthwasile. You have twasat. The Spirit is sekuthwasisile, seqedile ngawe. Well done. Right. So after the Spirit is sekuthwasisile, now it's your turn to twasa the Spirit. And it's on sekuthwasisile. Now it's your turn to twasa the Spirit. So now, when you twasa the Spirit, that's when izinto ziqala khona-ke now spiritually, whereby the first encounter yokuthwasa the Spirit, it's you uthwasa amandawo akhabo babakho, your watermdawo spirits. And that's where the journey starts to be difficult, because majority of us, we are not quite familiar with our father's side or our paternal side of the family. And then the self-initiation, when it starts, iqala lapho. I can't anyway iqala lapho. It wants you to twasa the watermdawo spirits zakhabo babakho. And awubazi. So practically, uma uthwasa amandawo akhabo babakho asemanzini, that's when you start dreaming of amanzi. Everywhere it's water. Kancane kancane iphupho oliphuphayo, it has to do with amanzi. Kancane kancane ufuneka emanzini and all of that. Uthwasa amandawo. Now also twasa the Spirit. Now you are twasing the Spirit. But before siyakude, you twasa your watermdawo spirits. So practically umele wazi ukuthi if now and again you are required ukuthi uye emanzini, you are required ukuthi uyokhuleka ehlane, you are required ukuthi uyokhuleka emfuleni, you are required ukuthi uyongena emfuleni uhlambulule, you are required ukuthi uye empophomeni and all of that. Uthwasa umndawo wakini. Uthwasa umndawo wakhabo babakho. Why? Uyimbewu yangale. You belong to that side, even though bangakwenzelanga niks, but you belong to that side. I've said this on that video engangayenza, how of your part, how to understand your paternal ancestors. I did say this, that you belong to that side, and no matter what, amadlozi akhabo babakho, they are the ones who hold the keys to your spiritual awakening. I did specify this, that yibo abaphethe ikey. No matter how you can do izinto for amadlozi akhabo mamakho bajabule and all of that, but naba abantu abaphethe izinto, here are the people. Uyimbewu yabo. Uyimbewu yabo. You know, so in such cases, you will twasa amanda wakhabo babakho. You will have to go to ushone emanzini, do all of that. Phansi phezulu, wenze yonke into that has to do with amanda wakhabo babakho. If you are a self-initiate, utwasa ubungoma, but as a self-initiate, that's when you'll be required to go to parule umda wako. That's when you'll be required to do the isrobe and all of that. Still, no mutwasa sporofito, you'll be required to parule umda wako. But umda we sporofito, umda of a water spirit, au parulwa ngendlela kuparulwa ngakhona umdawu wobungoni. No, I'm making it this wrong. Mdawu, a water spirit mdawu, a sporofito mdawu, au parulwa ngendlela ekuparulwa ngakhona umdawu lo jwayelekile lo dliswa isirobe. That one, it's paruled in its own way. There are certain offerings that are done. There are certain offerings that are given to umdawu wasemanzini. That's how you parula, you give offerings, certain specific offerings. Angeke uzungibuze ngama offering. Leyo nje ngeke uzuyenze. I did make a video where I specified about ama offerings wasemanzini. I did. If ufika izolo, go back, scroll down, uzoyithola. Offerings that are given, you need to do that. If it's flowers that are required, it's flowers. If kilikuku that are required, kilikuku. If it's jewelry that is required, it's jewelry, give jewelry. If it's money, it's money, give money. If it's fruits, give fruits. I did specify. That's how you parula umda wakho wasemanzini. That's how ubiza ngakhona, usabelisa, uze usondele. Tick 1. Tick 2. You are required ukuthi to summon imimoya yasem. No, you are required to attach yourself to the energy of the earth. You are required to ukhuleke hlane. Not because there's something wrong ngendlu yakho, but so that you can be connected to the nature, so that you can sense imithi eseduzane nawe mawusehlane, so that you can be able to connect to the spirit in its full capacity, in its full realm, in its full absolute, in its eminent position. That's why you'll be required to go to uyokhuleka ehlane, uyokhuleka entabeni and all of that. It's because of that. Mamelan. Okay. So now you're doing all of that, and then comes self purification. Self purification. Whereby now angithi usuthwasile uqedile. You have made peace, wasixolela and everything like that. So now it's self purification whereby still masothwasa. Now so thwasa angithi the spirit is no longer initiating you. Now you are initiating the spirit. So now you'll be required to do some self purification. That's when now kancane mawumntana kamoya kumele uqale uhlambulula. uzigeza, khona iy'nsebenzo oyisebenzisayo, khona iwasho oyisebenzisayo, everything like that. You know, uyayihlambulula, uyazigeza, everything like that. Now you are still doing what? You are still cleansing your physical side, because it's also very important, right? Self-purification. I just said self-purification because it's physical side. It includes your physical side. It includes your mental side. It includes your emotional side. It still takes you to where? To how is the very same method is spirit sakho esisebenzisela ukuthwasisa wena. It's the very same method ozoyisebenzisa ukuthwasa sona. So now it's just that now you are using different things. Now you're cleansing yourself physically and doing all of that. Sharp, that's one. Emotional side, what are you doing? Awuhlali namaqhubu. You don't hold grudges. You don't bottle up things. You just speak it as they are. Into mangakuphathanga kahle, you speak it. Guys, in mina, one thing, if you've been my follower for quite some time, I think you've noticed this about me. I'm a very brutal, blunt person. I speak into ngendlela engakhona. I say it as it is, without sugarcoating it, without swaying it, without barbecuing it, without burning it, without six-gunning it. I speak it as it is. I say it as it is. I'm just like that. Why? Because there is no integrity in nursing other people's feelings. There is no integrity in keeping quiet while omunye umuntu akuhetha. There is no integrity in nursing ama feelings abantu, because when it's their turn to nurse your feelings, they won't nurse your feelings, but instead they will speak it as brutally as it is, and you won't be able to take it because you've always expected them to nurse your feelings, because when you've been nursing their feelings all along, so you might as well not nurse their feelings. Say it as it is, so that even if they say it back to you, you'll be able to swallow it. There is no integrity in nursing our feelings abantu. So it's very important ukuthi into uma ungayithandi yisho ngaleso sikhathi leso. Say it ngaleso sikhathi, I don't like this bullshit. Just be specific like that. Angithandi le nonsense. Le angizwa nayo. That's it. Manje. What you know, guys? Athana haki kuhlani into says, "Hey, whoa. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. I don't like this. I'm not going to tolerate this." Do not teach yourself to tolerate abantu empilweni who don't teach you, who don't treat you with respect. When I got out of school, I 2013 or something, I got this internship that was for, I think it was for 1 year, 6 months or something like that. So sasi grupu yabantu babe ngama interni. Then there was this lady who was our supervisor, expert and all of that. Ilingana nathi nje intanga yethu, but kwakuyena wayesiphethe. Intombazane yayistopha like nobody's business. Isibutha kanje, isitshela ngale ndlela nonsense ngakhona. They were not doing everything. Kukhona bobhuti abadala ke egroupini yami. Babe badala nje man, behloniphekile nje bobhuti. Intombazane isibutha man, isithatha like nobody's business, isibutha. I remember this one time asibizela i-meeting. Wasinyela ugel. Thema akaqeda ngaphakamisa isandla ngathi. So ngiyabezwa ngaphandle, like masingaphandle balo bayacomplaina, i-team yami lo iyacomplaina, yo le ntombazane yadalela this and this and this. Ngathula ngathi du. Ngathi lwaka ngazi kahle lo. Thema qeda khoma ngaphakamisa isandla ngathi, wathi yes, ngathi mthetho kuyadalela ne. Wathi excuse me, ngathi ngizwe kahle. Mthetho kuyadalela. Angeke uzovele usukeleke usidobhe ukhulume nathi intando yakhe ezifla ukukhuluma nabo Rex nabo Danger izinja zakini. Mthetho kuyadalela. Ngathi if you want us to treat you with respect, you will respect us. Uzosihlonipha. Wathi nyonyonyo ngathi relax again. Ngathi yehlisa umoya, calm down. Yabona, if you don't know how to respect other people, khuleka sithando sami. Sengikhona, I'm here. ngifike qathatha ngifike ngononina ngizodila nawe zokusolva ngamtshela si group kukhona ngisho imanager ngathi relaxa zokusolva zodila nawe I'll solve you kuyothi kuphela lo nyaka uyobe sewazi ukukhuluma nathi uyobe sewazi ukukhuluma nabantu uzokwazi ukuthi uzokhuluma nonsense yakho nalabo abanye but when you come to us you're going to treat us with respect. Did she not get into line? So you treat people the way you want them to treat you. If you treat them with respect, nabo bazotreat with respect. That's it. Simple as that. So teach yourself that in your emotional side. So that will be you, Utwasa, the spirit, making sure that you are pure emotionally. And mentally, you, Utwasa, the spirit, mentally, that will include you and your moral ethics and self-conduct. This one is very important. Mentally, that would be you mastering the art of self-conduct, morals, and ethics. Utwasa the spirit. It's where you teach yourself how to conduct yourself as umntana kamoya. It's where you teach yourself what such things I should not do, such things I should do. It's where you teach yourself that I should conduct, my dress code, it should be like this. As umntana kamoya. You are twasaring the what? The spirit. Between umuntu otwasa the spirit and umuntu otwasa idlozi, there's a difference. Uyambona umuntu otwasa idlozi ukuthi okay lo watwasa idlozi. And somehow the mental side of ethics and morals akanayo. Akayifundanga. That's why umbona nje. That's why akwazi ukugcoka ngendlela afuna ngakhona just because uye. I know it sounds like it feels like ngathi unomona ngendlela abagcoka ngakhona unemona ngendlela how they self-conduct themselves and all of that. You know, but it's required for you to accomplish the journey. It's required. Bega mama bethu babengabaprofeti bengabathandazi. Look how respectful those women would wear. Bega indlela ehloniphekile bebagcoka ngayo. Bega impatho yabo bebayiphatha ngakhona. Bega indlela bebakhuluma ngayo mabekhuluma nabo, bebekhuluma ukuphila, bebekhuluma nabantu. Those are the self-conduct, self-ethics, self-morals. Look at all of that. Bayifunda lento, bayifundisa bona, yakhula nabo, bayithoba, bahlonipheke esizweni, bahlonipha abantu, bahlonipha umhlaba, bahlonipha umhlabathi, bahlonipha amanzi, bahlonipha yonke into abayisebenzisayo, bayithoba, bahlonipheka kwasanabo. Ngoba umhlaba bazehlisa. Ngoba umhlaba uyabayehlisa abantu abangafuni ukwehla. And that is something abanye abantu abanganayo. That is something the majority abantu abathwasa idlozi abanganayo. Bengizokupha ama-example ngama-this celebrity sangomas. Inkinga ngifuna ukubiza amagama abantu abazothi ngibiza amagama abantu. But khona babonayo ukuthi lo le part ye self-ethics and morals ukusiphatha nokwenzani akanayo. Khona nje muyimu gogo esimaziyo udila ngeichitho nani. She never mastered that part. She doesn't have it. She doesn't at all. Khona umunye umkhulu esimaziyo hleza khuluma nonsense. You could practically tell ukuthi he doesn't have that side. of self-morals and self-ethics. Ukuziphatha nento oyikhulumayo emlomeni wakho and all of that. Indlela oyiphatha ngakhona and everything like that. Khona uyababona. You see them. And after you've accomplished those three, which is your water down spirit, your mountain, your your water down spirit, your mountain process and all of that, your self-purification that you'll be doing, which is very important. Once you've mastered these three, that's when you get into spiritual regalias. Uyabona umuntu oboniswa amajazi neyiphika maqeda angayithungisi. Ngathi ngamshaya ngempama eshisayo, ihamba notswi ngaphakathi. Ngathi ngamdala ngempama fast, hot, blind. Because you undergo a process. Then the spirit, it shows you some certain regalias. These regalias, they are meant to kupula you in the spiritual realm. They are meant to awaken you, because iregalia neregalia inomsebenzi wayo. So these regalias that you are shown, they are meant to kupula you. Uboniswa ijazi, ubhizi ukhamisile uzoconsulta kimi. Hey, makhosi. Ngibonsitswe ejazi. And immediately when I ask you, ulewa irukisa. No, makhosi akiri next batla ubutsa hore na ke irukise na ha batla modimo lena. Ake sithi azange uzohlangana namakhosi sizo. Kusho ukuthi kahle phela wena bonga kuzothungisa le jazi. Wana. Lena. Awa. Amakhosi kibontshitswe siphika sena these stars and all of that. Usirukishije ngkhona. Awa amakhosi next time meturi utlomputsa rukisa. Wana. Lena. Awi. So practically, if you'll be shown lezo yiphika lezo, you'll be shown loyo msamaria loyo, you'll be shown lelo jazi lelo oboniswe lona and all of that. All of those regalias, they are meant to awaken you, elevate you into your spiritual level. It's part and process of you. Utwasa is tune, utwasa the spirit. It's part and parcel. So you need to make them. You need to have them. Because they help you in that awakening. You understand? Same applies to my beads. You know, they are there for a specific time. I'm a beads again. Izamba toge they ziyahlala. But I'm a beads, they are there. You wear them for that specific of time. Kwesinye isikhathi mela suka hambe aphume. Awahlali nomphela, awahlali. I'm telling you, awahlali nomphela. Nokubona umuntu asekashaya impamba hambe engaka, awahlali nomphela. If usuboniswa amanye kusho ukuthi khona amanye kumele aphume seqedwe umsebenzi wawo. Umuntu abhale status athi guys thungisani ngathi kuyalunga asha khuluma ngerelationship. Lapho koloti idlozi sambatho. Wena utshela ukuthi sithungise, wena ukoloti idlozi sambatho. Kodwa utshela ukuthi sithungise. Wow, girl. Wow. Ugood uyamangaza, uneyimanga. Bokumele babiza uthi makatsi. Uneyimanga. Wonderful. So you make those spiritual regalias, they are very much required because they elevate you, right? Sharp, no stress. After having those regalias, amanye ama-regalias wathola along the way. Yes, wathola along the way usahamba the journey. Usahamba the journey of ukuthwasa amandawo wakho. Usahamba the journey of this one that I have. I got it while I was still ngisathwasa amandawo asekhaya. It defines the water amandawo spirits. That's why it's the blue on the side. It's the white on the side. The blue for me, amandawo wami, they come from my maternal side. So that's why the blue it's on the maternal side. It's on the left hand side. Understand? So, and in most cases, amajazi owathola oboniswa wona, amajazi, those are two colors like this. Amajazi usually have something. The purpose, it has a lot to do with ukuhlanganisa ukuxhumanisa imimoya or ukuxhumanisa amadlozi asekhaya or ukuxhumanisa amathongo asekhaya. They serve in such purposes, amajazi anjalo in most cases. They have a lot to do with a combination, unity, purity, ukuxolisa nokubhadala ikolodo ongazazi. So if you see such amajazi angama-2 and all of the tubonisa wona, go and tunisa, because yiwo amajazi lawa asizayo ukubhadala ikolodo nokulungisa nyana izinto ongazazi ongakaze waze wayibona. They fix in such things. Hamba uyothungisa, uyokusho ukuthi usithungise imishado. Hamba uyothungisa into eziserious ezolungisa impilo yakho. Ngitshela ngomjolo kusasa uzobuza uhambile. Ngaze ngakhuluma njengoba udokotela ke nami. Senani. So after that, you've been shown all those regalias, you tungisa them, you use them, uyaziphahlela, uyahamba, amanye uyakhuleka ngawe ehlane, amanye uyakhuleka ngawe emfuleni, you do all of that sharp. Ekugcineni kwe-process, the last part of the process, I know ukuthi omunye umuntu uzibuzele question lena sisaqala. Kunini umuntu akhuluma? What time is it? Bathong, u-10. Sithi umuntu aqala ngo-8. I know ukuthi omunye umuntu kade azibuza le question sengiyaqeda guys asikiseni. I know ukuthi omunye umuntu kade azibuza le question lena ukuthi so umkhulu, if umuntu othwasa idlozi lakubo then ekugcineni bayaliphuza baliphalaze because the blood, it grants them the power to use the herbs. So what about someone who is a self-initiate and twasaring the spirit? What happens to bona if now they have to initiate and find and be granted the power? In the last part, guys, of the self-initiation, the spirit sesiqedile ngawe, you will be required, uzocelwa umsebenzi. Abantu abadala bazobonisa imbuzi yabo abayifunayo, bazobonisa imbuzi abayifunayo, bakubonisa ukuthi sifuna umsebenzi, yenza umsebenzi, do a ceremony. Uzowenza lo msebenzi loyo, and when you are done ngalo msebenzi, ukuchitha kwakho igazi, it's them granting you the power to use the herbs zasemhlabeni. Uzofuna umsebenzi owenzayo, uzowenza umsebenzi, ufuna umsebenzi, wenza umsebenzi. For someone owenzani obekathwasa ubungoma. And if bowuthwasa isithunywa, you'll be required ukuthi wenze umsebenzi still ekhaya. But now umsebenzi wakho, it won't require you ukuthi uhlabe imbuzi. Instead it will require you ukuthi wenze inkukhu or ubheke amakhekhe ekhaya, wenze sabuladinyana or something like that. Kube umsebenzi osporofito. Then you're done. Qedile. You've twasat. You're done. Isithunywa, the spirit sikuthwasisile, nawe wasithwasa. You are done. Qedile. There's a lot that I wanted to share. I didn't realize that there's so much time since Hambili. But at least what I managed to finish up the whole process of it. Yeah. I guess I've concluded. I've said it mouthfully. After so figure to the process of back from umsebenzi, you are done. usuqedile. That's the whole process of self-initiation. Do you now see ukuthi how difficult it is? Like uyabona manje ukuthi as far as le journey lena ingakufuni imali, but this journey is actually the most difficult of them all. Can you now see that? Can you now see ukuthi just because azange uzuye kagobela wayokoroba wavuka ekuseni washayelwa, that doesn't validate you as less? Can you see ukuthi kahle kahle ubani umuntu okumele ngabe ukhipha inyembezi uyakhala la? Can you now see ukuthi kahle kahle ubani umuntu okumele ngabe ucula ingoma zosizi? Can you now see ukuthi kahle kahle ubani umuntu ohluphekile la between the two of you? The one othwasa idlozi nalo othwasa the spirit. Can you now see? And can you see ukuthi uma usuqedile, the spirit comes with so much wisdom. The journey comes with so much wisdom. The journey comes with so much awakening. I think, guys, manicabanga lento le when you think about it, I think it now makes sense ukuthi why inyanga zakudala bekungabantu abadala bengasibantwana. It now makes sense ukuthi why abaprofeti bakudala bengabomkhulu abadala abanezinwele ezimhlophe nempandla lana. It now makes sense ukuthi why inyanga zakudala bengabogogo abadala sebandlule ezintweni emhlabeni. Because you had to undergo, because if you are a healer, you had to undergo some spiritual awakening. You had to undergo some spiritual awakening, guys. Like as I explained the process, I think you now see why. Why bekungabantu abadala? I mean, as a 16-year-old healer, what do you know? What have you experienced that is so much tough that I hope you now understand ukuthi ngiyaphi nalento lena. I hope now you see why ama-healer sodala bengabantu abadala, because you had to go some sort of an awakening. You now understand ukuthi why bekuthiwa ugogo, why bekuthiwa umkhulu. Not because it was a title, but it was because the journey that you have underwent, the journey that you have gone through, you have acquired so much wisdom. You have acquired so much indigenous knowledge and spiritual wisdom. So basically, you are given a title as Ugogo because you are a custodian of indigenous knowledge. You are a custodian of spiritual wisdom. That's why you are called Ugogo. That's why you are called Mkhulu. Do you now see that? Usuyabona manje ukuthi why bekungabantu abadala, ama-healers wakudala, why abaprofeti abathandazi bakudala bekungabantu abadala, why bekungabogogo abadala. It's because bekungabantu sebandlule the desires zomhlaba. Bese kungabantu isex bese kuyinto bese bayithola ngaleso sikhathi leso, umkhulu makajabulile ngalelo langa lelo. They were no longer focusing on the desires of life. Bese babhekane nempilo yabo, bese babhekane nesipho sabo, sebabhekane nokulapha abantu. So basically lo muntu upure, perfect, in the perfect state of the absolute. Akasafakafaki around. Akasamana khulume nje, athuka inhlamba nje ezinoma ngabe kanjani. Umuntu kancane kancane uyakhuleka ubiza uJehova ubiza uNkulunkulu. Umuntu kancane kancane makaqala akhulume emsama amadlozi asabela wonke aphelele. Because he or she is in the perfect state of the absolute. You now understand. This journey of self-initiation, it's not beginning, it dies as you see it. I've said mouthfully. Ngiyaxolisa ukunwestela idatha leni guys, ngiyotspin bengaboni ukuthi isikhathi esingaka. I've said mouthfully. Ngiyaqeda ke manje. This is how I conclude. This is how I conclude this time. So I'm done. Na into engifuna ukufundisa yona. Come down smart. umuthi emhlabeni awusebenzeli wonke umuntu. Umuthi kukhona abantu obasebenzelayo, kukhona abanye abantu futhi ongabasebenzeli. Umuthi usebenzela abantu who are more into the earth element of life. 1. Umuthi usebenzela abantu emndenini wabo bekunempande yobunyanga. Umuthi uyasebenza futhi ebantwini abazalwa embewini ebalekele ubunyanga. Umuthi uyasebenza kula bantu lapho. Umuthi awusebenzi ebantwini who are from a water spirit element, an air spirit element. But umuthi can work ebantwini who are from the fire element and the earth element. Umuthi uyasebenza emntwini osebenza ngomuthi. Umuthi uyasebenza emntwini osebenzisa umuthi. Umuthi awusebenzi emntwini ongawusebenzisi umuthi. Umuthi awusebenzi emntwini osebenza ngamanzi nomkhuleko. If uzalwa embewini enobunyanga eyabalekela or ekhayeni elinobunyanga, and when I decided to adventure into the prophetic side or I decided to adventure into ubuzalwane, all of that, umuthi umuntu makakuthakatha uzosebenza kuwe powerfully so, because uzalwa embewini yawo uzosebenza kuwe. But if uzalwa embewini yobuprofeti ekhaya beningabantu bensonta and all of that, imbewu yasekhayeni, imbewu yamanzi, imbewu yobuthandazi, imbewu yomkhuleko, umuthi umuntu makawuthumela kuwena ekuthakatha, mawufika kuwena awusebenzi. But instead mawufika kuwe uyaphila umuthi. Kanjani makhosi? Umuthi mawugubha emhlabeni uthola umanzi. Kuba wena ogayayo ubeke uwomise. Mawuwomisa, you are taking out the water element out of it. So basically uyafa lo muthi, but uyafa usala with the element of whatever lena oyisebenzisayo, but spiritually ufile, but physically uyaphila, because it's meant to heal whatever lemon uyisebenzisa. So for wena osebenzisa amanzi, umuthi mawufika kuwe, umuntu ewucasta ethi isichitho vatvat, umuthi mawufika kuwena ufika uthola amanzi. Awufika ufika ubulale kuwe, but ufika uphile kuwe. And mawufika uphila kuwe umuthi, instead of ukuthi ubulale ngendlela ebewutshele ngakhona, uzofika usebenzise the goodness side of it. That means if kuwumuthi okwazi ukubulala at the same time okwazi umuthi okwazi ukusebenzisa enhlanhleni, loyo muthi mawufika kwena ufika uphila, uzofika ukupha inhlanhla. So it's not because you are covered by the blood of Jesus or what. Yekela into ebhemayo ayizwani nawe. So that's how umuthi usebenza ngakhona emhlabeni. That's what I wanted to teach you as I conclude. All the best. Good night. uNkulunkulu anihlenge. uNkulunkulu abe muhle. uNkulunkulu anenzele kahle. Umoya mawunihole. Let the Spirit lead you. Let the Spirit initiate you. Initiate the Spirit. Let the Spirit love you. Let the Spirit lead you to the wisdom. Let the Spirit lead you to the perfect of the absolute. Let the Spirit give you peace. Let the Spirit give you forgiveness. And let the Spirit blossoms your financial stability. Asihlangane edlozini camp. There's still time to pay. Camp in December. Sizobonana edlozini camp. We'll see each other in December. 3 days. Yo, so much teaching, so much awakening. Sobamnandi. All the best. Izithandwa zezulu. I love you so much. Bye-bye.